Did you know that today is Answer Monday? That's where I, David, the Psychic General, will answer your burning questions through the lens of a psychic. In this episode, I will dive into predictions about Trump, the US, Ghana, UK elections, the next Prime Minister, Belgium, secret society, and who knows what. I might channel extra energy to cover even more topics and countries. If you want your questions answered, drop them in the comment sections right now. They could be featured in the next Answer Monday video. New to the channel? Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a psychic insights. Now sit back, relax, and let us embark on this psychic journey together. Let's get into the first question. We have Noshuan Raja. It says the question is, "Hi David, I would like you to answer these questions for me. Would you tell us what was happening to Trump and how things will turn out?" Okay, so I think he has four different questions. So I'll answer it bit by bit, and it says that, "Can you throw more light on your prediction about certain U.S. Former president coming back to the light about something? Which secret society controls the world? And can you also look into Ghana and tell us what will happen to the government in power, the country, and some of the celebrities?" Okay, so let's tackle the first one. That is what is actually happening to Trump and how will things actually turn around. So with Trump, I already told you in the past that he has actually been given something to actually take that is making him sick. I know that he would dismiss rumors about him getting sick and stuff like that, but the sickness has nothing to do with his heart. The heart, whatever other people are predicting, is just an effect of what is actually happening to him. So the actual things that is happening to Trump is has to do with his lungs. So he has an issue with the lungs. That is what is happening to Trump at the moment. And that, when you have lung issues, it actually translates to maybe some heart conditions or something like that. So maybe that's what other psychics are seeing, but I see that it has something to do with his heart. And I don't see Trump passing away in his presidency. I already told you guys already about this. He's not going to pass away in his presidency. I see him being available throughout his presidency. And I also see him as an attempt on running on a third term. I already had this prediction already. I see that going to run as a president or a vice president to Vance. And I also see that the, Republican Party will win the next election. I already told you in 2028. I see that this is going to actually happen. So Trump is going to survive, and I don't see anything happening to him. So in most of the part, I say that we all should actually pray for Trump, because one of the reasons why the pandemic has not hit yet is because of Trump. Trump is the one preventing the pandemic from being released as it is being scheduled. So they want to put him away so that they can be able to release this pandemic, and Trump is actually blocking this from happening. That's what I see. That's what my energy is picking up. As much as most people do not like Trump, it's about time we pray for him, because he's is one of the reasons why you and I are still alive today, because of this schedule of this pandemic. And the pandemic is going to be very brutal. If it is being released, it's going to be very brutal. Those people who were tested for the pandemic, in terms of, you could see maybe your family and friends, there was a time, let's say 2 months ago, there was a time that people got sick. They didn't know what was happening to them, but they could see that their voices were lost. It's not lost completely, but you know that when you are talking, your voice change. It's like your voice is not recognized, kind of thing like that. So that was the effect of the pandemic. Those who experience that know that. So we let us pray for Trump. It's very, very, very important that we pray for Trump. Whilst I'm talking about Trump and stuff, I also see that some governors will be removed or will leave their post, something like that. And I'm not sure what I'm actually seeing, but I see that governors in other states will leave their posts or something like that. And I see that this is going to be happening. I already told you guys that, there are going to be some states within the US trying to be independent countries, and this is not going to work. And I see this happening as well. That is what I see for the US. I think his other question was to do with my other predictions about the U.S. president, former U.S. president coming back to life. Yeah, I was talking about Obama that was coming back to life. I already told you guys that there's going to be a discovery of election or voter fraud, and his this was what I was talking about, that it's going to come back to light, and this is already happening. So my prediction came in, and then I also told you guys that Michelle Obama will dismiss divorce rumors. This is also going to come to light, where Michelle Obama will eventually start a divorce on Barack Obama. So this is what I saw happening for former presidents and stuff, that this is what it's going to be. And I think that that prediction has already been confirmed, and this is already happening, and we have already seen it come to light. I think the other question that was being asked was the secret society, which secret society actually controls the world. So this is actually a very important or very highlight questions. Someone who is not spiritually inclined may not get this right. There is a very secret society that is very greater than even the Freemasons. Most people think that the Freemasons are the ones that actually controls the world. Yes, they are part of the higher hierarchies that controls the world, but they are not the number one. The number one secret society are secret in such a way that even their name is secret. Most people, the members of the secret society, call themselves what we call the brotherhood. And this secret society are selected individuals. It's not like you can join, you can apply to join. They actually select you. And this secret society are people who have special gifts. If you don't have a level of special gift, you cannot be selected for this secret society. Not like, the Freemasons that a good word can be put in for you and then you can join. This secret society with special skills and or special gifts that can do things. People are to read minds, to manipulate the environment, to influence your decisions. These are powerful things that they can do. So these are the things, the traits of this secret society, and they can do more, even to ignite wars and stuff like that. These are the things that those people within the secret society are actually able to do. So they pick you up, train you, amplify your abilities and your gifts so that you can be able to do things very tremendously. Those are the secret society, and these are the things that they do. They are the ones that control the world. I cannot say more about this secret society. Let's move on to the next question. They were saying that the next one was about look into Ghana and tell us what is happening to the government in power and some of the celebrities. So let me just vibrate. I think I already made predictions about Ghana already. Let me just vibrate into the country Ghana. So with Ghana, like I told you guys already, that with this year, the president, that is John Dramani Mahama, an attempt on his life will be made 3 times. I told you guys that in my previous videos, I told you guys that one is going to be an assassination attempt and two will be a poison attempt. And I already see that a poison attempt has been made, an assassination attempt has been made. The poison attempt was the one that got the vice president, that most people within the country Ghana was talking about the vice president getting stroke, and I came out and said that the vice president it was not a stroke, but it was a poison attempt. And later on, they all discovered that it was a poison attempt. That was one attempt on the president's life. The second attempt was the assassination attempt, not remembering families who lost their loved ones, their pain, but it was about the helicopter that got a crash that 8 lovely, strong individuals lost their lives. This is the second attempt in terms of the assassination attempt on the president's life. The third attempt will happen also this year. That's going to be a poison attempt. And I gave a caution that the president of Ghana, that's John Dramani Mahama, must change his cabinet and make sure that it is his family, regardless of what everybody says about him trying to put his family around him. This is what he has to do because there are infiltrators within his camp. And then these infiltrators would like to take him down. And the reason why they would like to take him down is because he's going to put a hard stand on corruption. And most of the people around him are also involved in this corruption. There's multiple corruptions that are going on in the country, and most people that are around him in power are also, involved in this corruption, and implicating or trying to control down corruption will hurt some of these members. And they are partner with the other opposition parties and stuff like that. And this will make his life be at danger. This is what I'm seeing for the president of Ghana. And it's very important that he take this as a precaution. I'm not saying he's not going to pass away. Anything that they throw at him is going to be like Trump. Anything that they throw at him is not going to work. And he's going to survive his presidency. I already told you guys that there's going to be rumors about he actually running for a third term, and this has already happened, that there was discussion of him running a third term, and it was not going to be successful. I already had this prediction already, and it is. He has come out and said that he's not going to run a third term. But there's going to be other, things that is going to, in his last year of presidency, this is going to rise up again, and discussions will come. And I see that there's going to be a new flag bearer for the NDC. I see a little old man, is like kind of slim. I don't know, the name is not coming up whilst I'm doing this live, but I see his face is an old man. I think he has power within the party already, and I see him being the next president of the country. And I also predicted that in 2032, the former late, president of Ghana, that is Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings' daughter, Zenata Rawlings, will run, as a presidential candidate or a vice president in the election 2032. And I see this happening as well. In Ghana also, I see that there's going to be a foreign, um, I think it's a foreign flight. Specifically, is it Delta Airlines? I see something like Delta Airlines. Yeah, I see something like Delta Airlines running domestic flight and African flight within Ghana. And I see this happening. It's not going to be this year, but talks will may start this year or early next year. And this is going to happen in Ghana within the presidency of John Dramani Mahama. See this happening. And I also see that in Ghana, electricity in Ghana was going to be very, very stable. And I see Ghana becoming the home of power, or the home of electricity supply to most African countries. And this is going to be very, very huge. Whilst I'm picking up on that, I also see that the dollar rate is going to go up. They will try to actually, control the dollar rate, but I see the dollar rate hitting $14. I think this is going to be happening very soon. The dollar rate is going to be going up, and I know if you are in the country, you already see this happening. But I see it hitting $14 to the city. So this is what I see happening for the dollar rate. And I also see that there is something that the nation Ghana has to do in terms of their roads. So the Accra and Sawam road is very, very bad. I think there was something that was triggered with during the election time in Ghana, and that thing has not been put to bed. I think one of the things has to do with the late presidents of the country, those who have already, the former presidents who have already passed away, and another was to do with 10 mad people. I will not disclose the gender. And then the last one, I can't disclose it, but this was something that was done, and it has triggered something. So that Accra and Sawam Road has to be actually completed by the end of 2026. Not completing this road by the end of 2026, there's going to be chaos in the country. And I feel that if this chaos comes, it's going to have a lot of devastation, or it's going to create a lot of tension in the country. And it's very important that we, or the people of Ghana, actually completes that law, or the government actually make sure that it is near to completion, but before the end of 2026. And then I also see that there is a major thing that an MP, right? There's this MP that I'm seeing is coming off like a dark guy, a little bit tough. It's not too tough, but a dark guy, a little bit, like it's very short, but I will call it like averagely built to full build capacity. I think that he spoke something about an aircraft having drugs in those aircraft and stuff like that, and there was no evidence to prove that kind of thing. I see that he's going to get wounded, and I see that he's going to be passing away before the term of his MP, whatever it is. But I'm not picking up the year because I'm doing this live, but that's what I see happening to him. So I don't know what the name is, but I think he's an MP, and I see his face vividly. And I see he's going to be wounded and going to be passing away eventually. I also see that Kennedy Japan will win the flag bearership for the NPP party, but he's not going to win the 2028 elections. This is what I see happening, and already predicted that this is going to be happening in Ghana. I also see something fascinating that I think they call it National Lottery Association. There's going to be a discovery of like a fraud scandal within that organization that it will come to light that there's going to be evidence that will come to light that people within that organization are manipulating the winning numbers of the National Weekly whatever lotteries that they have within Ghana that is controlled by the government. There's going to be a scandal of fraud or manipulation of the winning numbers and stuff like that. And this is going to be coming to light. I see this happening within the countries. I also see for celebrities, I also see that celebrities' properties or something like that will be taken. It's either going to be burnt or it's going to be taken. I see that there's a collapse of a lot of celebrities' properties in Ghana. I see this happening. It's not like it is not rightfully theirs. It looks like there is something that is happening, like it is collapsing or something like that. There is something like that in terms of celebrities in Ghana. Let me shift my attention to new things as well. Let's go to the next question. I have Lord Fufu here. It says that uh, um, could you see the atlas? It is unusual in terms of the comet. It said that a Harvard scientist is claiming it is an alien ship coming towards us. So there's a case that I already predicted about this comet happening, and I told you that there's going to be a comet or an asteroid that will come relatively close to Earth. This is not an alien ship or whatever they are claiming it to be. It's a comet or an asteroid. I can make a whole video about how this happened, but in the short run, it is just a comet. It will come relatively close. It's not going to hit Earth, but I told you that there's going to be discussions about the possibility of a comet hitting Earth, and this is what is already happening. My predictions have been confirmed, and that this is going to happen. I already had this prediction a long time ago, and this has happened. So I told you a comet is going to be hitting Earth, but it's not going to hit Earth. It's going to come relatively close, and we are going to see humans on Earth are going to be seeing this happening, and there's going to be discussion of the possibility of this hitting Earth. So that is what has happened. Let us go to the next question. So I have Martin. Martin says that, David, I thought you said oil prices will surge this September month and gas will go up to $8 a gallon. Is this still something you see happening in the US? Yes, this is something I still see happening in the US, but I didn't say in September oil is going to be $8 a gallon. No, I said it's going to start rising from September going, and it's going to reach up to $8. So the time frame for it reaching $8 was not September. It says it is going to rise and it will reach $8. It's going to rise from September. So this September, we are going to see the rise of oil in the US. In most of the countries, there's going to be a rise of oil and gas prices is going to rise. And this is going to actually eventually in the US eventually reach $8 a gallon. But the time frame is going to reach $8 a gallon. It's not something that I disclose, but it's the rise of the prices of gas is going to rise this September, and we are already in September, so I see this happening as well. So this is what I see happening, and it has to do with, I think there is a oil that is going to be hidden or an oil refinery that is going to get hit, and this, when you see this happening, that you'll see that this has been activated and this is going to rise the prices of oil. That is what I see happening. Let us move on to the next question. We have Ahmed. Ahmed says that I asked you, brother, when the pandemic you mentioned in the video going to happen. So with the pandemic, it's actually already started. I already told you the pandemic is not, they have not fully released the pandemic yet. But at this end of this year, we are going to see a glimpse of the pandemic starting at the moment, because I told you that the idea is not about the pandemic. The pandemic is not their motive. The pandemic is not their target. The pandemic is not. Their target is actually to be able to control humans, right? And they will use it through the pandemic because you need to be vaccinated to be controlled. This vaccination has to enter into your body that would turn as like an ion or something like that, like an ion or something within, or a metal within your body that is going to be used to control you. So this is their target. The pandemic is not. So they may have discovered different ways in getting the vaccination into our bodies that I have not vibrated to be able to know. By the end of this year, we will hear the glimpses of the pandemic starting, and this is going to be massive. But I'm praying that Trump should be healthy, well, for a long time so that he can be able to prevent these things from happening right now. Because if the pandemic hits, it's going to be very chaos around the world, and it's very important that we stay away from meats and stuff. I think let's go to the next question. We have Jane. Jane say the pandemic you suggested not to eat red meat. Does this apply to dairy products and chicken? So I already told you guys, like, some of the prediction, you have to watch it over and over again to be able to understand what I'm talking about. So here's a case that, to make it very simple, do not eat any type of meat at all. It has nothing to do with red meat. It's meat at all. Any livestock that can be vaccinated, do not eat it at all. Anything at all in terms of meat, do not eat it at all. So that is what, because when the pandemic hits, they are going to start vaccinating. If the number of people that comes freely to be vaccinated are not matching up to what they are expecting, then they will try to start vaccinating animals, and we eating these animals through that will get also vaccinated. So this is what I see happening. So we'll actually try and start, abstaining from eating meat at all. It's very important, and you can all be able to survive this time of the pandemic. It's very important. Let's go to the next question. We have Ali here. Ali says that, hey, David, hope you are keeping well. I was wondering if you could look into why the UK government have purchased tents that could hold up to 700 dead bodies. Do they have any knowledge of something that we, the public, don't? Lots of British citizens are very concerned about this. Thank you in advance. Okay, so yes, they know something that we do not know. So most of the time, the people in power have a lot of information. Here's a case that they are actually preparing for the pandemic. But when you ask them why they bought, tents that can hold up to 700, dead bodies, they are going to tell you that it's just to prepare for emergency. And this is not the reason why. They know what is coming and they need to prepare for it, because if there's a lot of dead bodies lying around, it's going to make their country look very bad. So they need to prepare for this emergency. It's like you are buying a new home and you say you don't have a plan of using it. It doesn't make sense. So you know the reason why you are buying it. So here's a case that they have the plan. They know that the pandemic is coming, and that is why deforest. I told you that when to see the sign, you see there's a lot of bushfires that is going to happen. And so just Google in your area, is there any news of bushfires and where are the bushfires happening? You see that savanna areas, like places that are forest areas that has been reserved without any history of bushfires, will start burning. So this is something that you see that the pandemic is really coming, because here's a case that I told you, the vaccination has to do with frequency. So the more frequency that they have around, the more people they can be able to control. And here's a case that the livestock, in terms of the trees, can prevent this frequency from happening, or the massiveness or the intensity of the frequency to happen. So definitely they need to cut down these trees to allow the frequency a free flow for them to be able to control us. So this is what I see happening. So the UK government would dismiss that, and I see that it is because the pandemic is coming. Let us move on to the next question. So I have Strayscon here. It says that, hello, can you please say something about my country, Sweden? I wish you all a great week. So with Sweden, I think I already made predictions about Sweden already. So you can check my other videos about Sweden. I think I already made those predictions about Sweden. So let me vibrate to the country of Sweden and see some of the things that I can be able to pick up in terms of Sweden. Sweden. So the first glance that I'm seeing is unemployment in Sweden. I don't know if I've already made predictions about Sweden, but I'm getting unemployment with Sweden, and this is going to cause a lot of homelessness in Sweden. And I see this happening. I also see that there's going to be violence that is going to be escalating in Sweden. This is going to go to actually a record high, and I see that there's going to be shooting in crowded places, like the schools, malls, and places where people are actually gathered. That I see this happening in Sweden, that there's going to be violence, escalation of violence, and this is going to go to a record high. It's very, very important that, we take precautions about this. And I also see that there's going to be scandal in high places. Here I'm seeing, up to the top of the chain, there's going to be scandals in very high places in Sweden. And this will be like recorded videos, recorded audios that is going to be leaked. And this is going to be very, 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 very massive. I'm talking about people in power and companies in power, like major companies. There's going to be a leak. There's going to be a huge scandal that is going to be hitting Sweden. I see this happening. I also see that while I'm talking about that, I also see that there's going to be system malfunction. Is it like system malfunction that has to do with the banks, that has to do with directions, that has to do with tech stuff, like tech things? Is there's going to be a system disruption. I see like people going to places and they are stand still. They are unable to move. It's like people going to the bank and they are unable to withdraw money. It's something like that I see happening, and it's like electrical vehicles are unable to move, something like that. I see this happening in Sweden. It's very, I'm picking it up strangely in Sweden that something like that is actually going to be happening, and I see this happening. I also see, I'm hearing Sweden as US, and all the thing that come in mind is recession. I see that there's going to be recession in the country if it is not already happening. I see that this is happening. It's telling me that they are going to experience recession as the US experienced recession, and I see this happening right now. And I see that they are going to be recovering, but the recovering is going to start from the beginning of 2026. From this recession, their country is going to crumble, and I see this happening. I also see that they are going to, whilst I'm picking up on the recession, I see that a deal is going to come through for Sweden, that is with the China, and this is going to help the economy build up from their recession that they are going to be coming through. And I see this is going to be a great deal between Sweden and China. They are going to have this deal coming up. Whilst I'm picking up on that, I see that it's like, adult movies. Those who are, adult movies are going to be restricted in the country of Sweden. It looks like they are unable to access those websites that has those kind of things. It looks like something like that. It's like they are unable to pay, they are unable to access. I don't see trying to access those websites is like it's unavailable. Like the way you are trying to access something and it's not no longer available. I see this happening in Sweden. Maybe they are going to be putting policies to restrict people from being able to access this type of website, like the way they have it in Dubai, right? You are unable to access these things. I think I see this happening in Sweden as well. And this is what I see happening in Sweden. I see that there's going to be a huge immigration problems in Sweden. There's going to be an inflow of refugees into Sweden. I see this happening, that there's going to be inflows of refugees into Sweden. And I see that this is going to make the government implement policies around the borders, policies about refugees. And there's going to be a state that there's going to be deportation, like the way US is actually started the deportation this year. I see that Sweden is also going to start deportation as well. It's like this year, they are going to also start deportation. There's going to be an inflow of deportation, or people, illegal immigrants or undocumented people are going to be deported from Sweden. I see this happening as well. If you are undocumented, it's time for you to actually make sure that you get something in place. And I also see that it looks like I've entered into a classroom. I see students sitting down, but there's no teachers actually available to teach. I don't know if there is going to have an issue with having enough teachers teaching, but I see that students will go to school and they don't have teachers in the classrooms to teach. Teachers are not appearing in the classroom. I don't know if it is about strike or it's about shortage of teachers, but I see this, that there's not going to be enough teachers to teach, and the classrooms are empty, and there is no teachers available to teach. And this is what I see about Sweden. Let us move on to the next question. We have Renee here. Renee say, "Hi, David. I live in South Central Pennsylvania, south of the Harrisburg area. Do you see this area affected by flooding or earthquake? If so, what time frame?" So let me see. Specific city in the U.S. is very hard for me to vibrate, but let me see what I can see. Um, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So I'm not picking anything to do with flood in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm not picking anything to do with earthquake in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The only thing that I'm seeing, and that I see investment, I see funding coming to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I see that the area is going to be very safe. I see there is going to be safety measures in place. I see safety measures being imposed into Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and it's going to be a safe place for you to actually live at the moment. So there is no flooding, there is no earthquake at this moment in 2026. I don't see it happening, and I don't see it happening in 2025 as well. So I don't see this happening at the moment, and I think that place is going to be safe, and there is investment and funding coming to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That's what I see. Let's move on to the next question. We have Salma here. Salma say, "Thank you, Extreme. We certainly have a lot of problems in South Africa. Unemployment is very bad, more than 40% unemployed. Would the government be able to turn this around? Also, what can you see about crime? When will this get under control?" So I think he's confirming about my prediction I made about South Africa the last time. So with South Africa, I don't see this changing. I don't see the government being able to turn the unemployment around. I think unemployment will still continue, because I already told you there is corruption even up to the top. So unemployment is going to actually continue, and crime rate in the country is not going to turn around. Crime rate will still be there. I think the only hope they have right now is to change the government or to change the person in power. And that is what I see for South Africa. I don't see that they are able to, control this, and that the promises the government has made will not be able to be fulfilled. Whilst I'm talking about the president, I see like there's some people, there's a group of people that is higher than the president in the country. So because the people are higher than the president, and then the president cannot take, it's like the president is in their pocket. So it will be very difficult to use this same person to turn things around in South Africa. And I don't see that this is going to happen anywhere in his presidency. And this is going to be very massive, that, a change of government or a change of personnel will be very important. If there should be a turnaround, people within government has to be changed. A lot of people within government has to be changed, because they are working with the same people, and then the same people who caused the problem are in power. So here's a case that it's impossible to get this under control. Let us move on to the next question. We have Angel Shine says that, will advance UK win the next UK elections, and will Rupert Lowe become prime minister? So in terms of advance, I think this is also to confirm my prediction. I told you that there was going to be a new party that is going to be formed. from people coming from other parties, and this is something that has been confirmed already. So Advance UK is not going to be able to win the next election, and I don't see that Rupert will be the next prime minister. I don't see that happening at this moment. Advance UK will make some impact in terms of before the election they will make some impact, but I don't see them becoming the next elected in the UK. I don't see that happening at all. Let us move on to the next question. We have Alvin. Alvin says, will Trump crash all crypto, especially Bitcoin, in early 2026? First quarter to control crypto like he wants to control oil. I personally expect a 90% crash. So crypto is going to crash in 2026, first quarter of 2026, but it's not up to 90% as you are saying. It's not going to be up to 90%. Um, Crypto will crash, but here's a case that it is not going to be because of Trump. Crypto is not going to crash because of Trump, because the natural elements of the world has come together already that crypto is going to crash beginning of first quarter 2026. The massive impact is not going to be in 2026. So it's going to start from I think the end of January 2026 and going downwards, and it's going to be going down, down. I think the lowest Bitcoin will come in terms of the lowest is going to be around 67,000. So if you are not looking to have your Bitcoin come as low as 67 or 40 something thousand, then you should be able to sell your Bitcoin before the end of the end of January 2026. That is what I see happening. But Bitcoin is going to come down, but not up to 90%, as you are saying. Let us move on to the next question. I don't like to give like price predictions in terms of these things because a lot of people use it, for gambling and stuff. And these are all predictions, are all for entertainment purposes only. Let us move on to the next question. We have GTB61 says, I have a question for you also, please. Thousands and thousands of people around the whole of Australia marched in protest against the government because of high immigration, high cost of living, people are struggling, and high numbers of homelessness. So what do you see happening there? Will government address the concerns? Will things improve and getting better, or is it getting worse and people take it to the street in protest again? I see that there's going to still be a protest. The government will not be able to control this or address this properly as the people may like. It may put in some measures, but it's not going to be successful. And I see there's going to be another protest again happening, that people will come to the streets based on the fact that there's high, like you said, high immigration, high cost of living. And I see this happening, and people will keep on struggling. I think I made prediction about Australia already, and you should listen to that prediction, and I gave vivid. And I think some of these things that you are saying are already said in a prediction. It's not gonna get worse. They are gonna eventually, do something about it, but it's not gonna be successful like the people want it to be. So it's gonna be, the cost of living is gonna go high. Homelessness is gonna increase. People will be unable to pay their bills. I already told you guys like that. I think Australia is a very nice country as well. I would like to visit it one day. But this is what I see happening. I think that there was a question about, I forgot, I didn't get the picture of that question. There was a question about the United Kingdom becoming like France, or Belgium, or Belgium becoming like France, or the fate of Belgium becoming like France, or something like that, in terms of whatever they are saying, and also saying that Kingdom of Belgium will last longer, or something like that. I remember glancing through a question like that. I see that as the Kingdom of Belgium will last longer for now, at least maybe 10 years or more. I see that the structure may keep shifting towards more autonomy for regions, but here's a case that I don't see them, breaking out from the kingdomship type of a thing, and I see that this is going to be even for 10 years, this is going to be happening. Because of their ties for monarchy and then the UN, this is going to be a little bit impossible for them to break out from the kingdomship thing that they're having. I wish I could see the question properly so I can answer it, but I had a glimpse of it. But that's what I see happening for I think Belgium, and I think I already made some predictions about Belgium already. If you want, listen to that video and listen to it correctly. Maybe I will feature it again in the next Answer Monday. Thank you guys for watching. We are brought to you. This is Answer Monday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on our notification bell so that you can get notified when we post similar videos like this.